Welcome to Guild Wars 2 Goldlocked, a challenge series inspired by many other similar series and other games where we are exploring the world of Tyria one zone at a time. In each zone, we have to do everything we can in just that map to earn 50 gold before moving on to the next one. We started our adventures in the Wayfarer Foothills before moving on to the Diessa Plateau in the last episode, where at the end of that episode we spun a wheel to see where we would be going to next. And we landed on the Plains of Ashford. So today, let's go across the Char starting area and explore the whole map in its entirety, trying to find weird and unique ways to make gold in a map that was not designed with gold making in mind. Just like with every map we enter, I want to spend some time doing some casual map completion, completing every objective in the map while doing some early research into specific mobs and areas that may be helpful for our goals in this map. I also like to do all the story that I can do in the map during this time, but since our next story mission is in Snowdon Drifts, we won't be continuing our story until we get to that map in a future video. As I complete everything I can in this map, let's go over an important idea related to making gold in Guild Wars 2 that I've seen some people talking a bit about in the comments, and I'm going to summarize this topic as investment, as in spending gold and time to make more gold. Throughout Guild Wars 2, there are some incredible quality of life items like infinite gathering tools and salvage kits that we can get on the gem store that will make our lives a lot easier. But how worth it are they? Well, if you are a long-term player who loves Guild Wars 2 and will be playing the game a lot, they are 100% worth it just for the convenience that they offer you. If you have these items on a character or in shared inventory slots, you never have to worry about getting a gathering tool or salvage kit ever again unless you want something very specific. But this series isn't your regular playthrough of the game. If we wanted to get unbreakable gathering tools, we would need 2400 gems to get that basic set without any of the fancy gathering effects. That's quite a few gems, which would require us to get a lot of gold. At the time of writing this video, it would require for us to spend 945 gold in order to get 2400 gems to get these items. That is equivalent to us completing 19 maps in Guild Wars 2 just to get those items, meaning we would spend 19 episodes worth of time in just one episode to try to get those items to help us out a bit. For me, that just doesn't really feel worth it, and once we get it, it would take us quite a bit of time to get a return on investment. The math is a lot more complicated with a wide variety of items, but to simplify it, a single iron ore sells for 1 silver, meaning one stack of iron ore is roughly 2 gold and 50 silver, meaning we would need 378 stacks of iron ore or 94,500 specific pieces of iron ore just to make back that gold. Again, I just don't feel like it's worth it. If you are a player who will play for a long time, you will definitely make back that money, and regardless of whether or not you do, they are incredibly convenient to have. But for us, in this challenge, they just aren't worth it. And this idea of investment can go to a lot of different ideas when it comes to making gold, and is something I talked a little bit about last episode with crafting, and I want to bring this up again with another similar idea, but later on in this video, so remember this idea for now. Upon completing everything in the Plains of Ashford and exploring some parts of the map, I finished with a grand total of 2 gold, 38 silver, and 80 copper earned, plus some extra silver from selling stuff to the vendor and completing events and whatnot. About on par as the last 2 maps, but I didn't get a Black Lion chest key this time, which lowers some of our gold. But hey, we have a chance to get one as a random drop from any map, the same chance as getting a precursor, but a chance nonetheless. As I've explored the map, I've actually come up with a fair few number of mob farms that I think may have the potential to net us some gold. Some of them in practice will likely not be that good, but we can try out a few and see what aspects of this map work. But before we get to some general mob killing, let's try some farms that are more specifically unique to the map of the Plains of Ashford. First, we have all of the harvesting nodes around the map that we can gather up just like we did in Wayfarer Foothills and Diessa Plateau. With the Plains of Ashford being a level 1 to 15 beginner area, I'm expecting the amount of gold we make from ore, lumber, and plants to be pretty similar to the Wayfarer Foothills, as we will be getting drops from there. That means cinnamon sticks are back on the table. But similar to Diessa Plateau, some of the specific plants we get are going to be a little bit different since we are currently in Ascalon and not the Shiver Peaks. Running through this map was definitely a lot nicer than Diessa Plateau and was more in line with my experience in the Wayfarer Foothills. We also have the iconic potato garden located in this map that a lot of people come to. In total, it took me about 31 minutes, and I got around about the same amount of total materials as I did in the Wayfarer Foothills. With the Shadow of the Mad King festival going on, I got a bonus 22 pieces of candy corn, which sell for about 9 silver, as well as 3 trick-or-treat bags, which sell for about 10 silver. Some other highlights from the basic materials I gathered are 15 cinnamon sticks, which sell for about 1 gold, 6 mushrooms selling for 24 silver, 8 black peppercorn selling for 24 silver, and 2 tiger's eye pebbles selling for about 11 silver. The 107 copper ore I got sells for about 41 silver, while the 113 greenwood logs I got sell for about 16 silver. So out of everything, the cinnamon sticks are definitely the most worthwhile, with some of the plants being nice to go for. But of course, everything does add up, and we got a total of 2 gold, 70 silver, and 16 copper, or roughly 5 gold and 22 silver per hour spent to gather nodes in this map. With the reminder that we can only do this when the nodes reset in each IP. But with that total, and even excluding the few bonus Halloween drops, the Plains of Ashford ended up being the best map to gather nodes in for gold out of the 3 maps we have explored thus far. But now it's time for the other incredibly unique aspect of this map that I think a lot of people have been waiting for. The Plains of Ashford is special for us because it introduces the first ever dungeon that we can explore, the Ascalonian Catacombs. This is the first dungeon in the game, with the story mode version unlocking at level 30 and the explorable mode version unlocking at level 35. It's also considered the easiest dungeon in the game, but since we are so low level and don't have a complete build just yet, we are definitely going to struggle in here. Per the rules of this entire challenge, I can't do this dungeon with help, so any gold we get in here can only be achieved by us individually. And since we are so weak right now, we may just have to return here in the future. But before we get to the explorable mode version, which is definitely going to net us more gold should we be able to complete it, we need to do the story mode. And as you can see from the start of my attempt here, I don't think the Ascalonian Catacombs is in the future. I definitely don't deal a lot of damage with what I currently have unlocked, so fighting mobs is going to take forever, time that could be spent getting more gold elsewhere. And while I am dying a lot, I could probably eventually clear through the dungeon and complete it by myself, but I think we need to wait to test out adding solo dungeons until we get stronger, or maybe we should avoid dungeons altogether since they are technically outside of the map, and I am not including fractals and raids in this challenge. So maybe we should just exclude them as well. Let me know what you all think. So with a failed dungeon run behind us, it's time to explore a bunch of different mob farms that I had ideas for. Now I had a bunch. Graw have been on my mind for a while now, and I have had a great idea for a farm related to them. But I think we need some higher level ones for it to work out, so we will return to them in a future map. I thought maybe sparks could be good depending on the drop rates of the items they drop, but after a bit of testing it didn't seem like it would pan out well. I also thought the Ascalonian ghosts might be a good source of drops because of how many there are, like this entire map is infested with them, but their loot tables are pretty minimal at this low of a level. And I tested around with a few other potential ideas, but ultimately I thought there are 2 bigger potential farms, outside of moles of course, that have a good possibility to net us some gold, and both are pretty similar, but also different because they are like different mobs and stuff. First are the Separatists. These mobs can technically be found in a couple of different areas because of events, but they are primarily found around Camp Kieran in the Loreclaw Expanse area. This is a pretty small area that doesn't have too many Separatists, but a decent amount that we can keep killing them over and over with little downtime. There are some other mobs around here like the Rams, which will drop slabs of red meat, who we can hunt in the few seconds of downtime before a new Separatist respawns. There's also that iconic potato garden, plus a few saplings and other nodes around here we can grab if they happen to be up while we are here. And there are even a couple of events that spawn more Separatists, which would be beneficial for our goals here to kill the mobs the events spawn. Since this is a task area, other people do come through here and kill the Separatists as well, and given how there is a small amount of them, it can be a little more challenging to continuously kill Separatists, as other players may kill them before you have the chance to. As I spent some time here, I didn't have too many issues, and only a few players came through. Either way, it's never a big deal since we are all on the road of Tyria together. The primary reason we are killing Separatists is because they drop bags of pinched goods. These are similar to the tiny icy bags we were getting from the Sons of Svanir and the Wayfarer Foothills, but are less valuable. In total, from spending half an hour farming these Separatists, I got 47 bags of pinched goods, which comes out to about 1 gold and 17 silver. I also got 10 slabs of red meat from the different rams, giving me an additional 22 silver, and not really anything else of note outside of the 7 special trick-or-treat bags I got since the Shadow of the Mad King is going on. Everything together came out to a total of 1 gold, 56 silver, and 86 copper from 30 minutes of farming, equivalent to about 3 gold and 13 silver per hour. Definitely not too bad, but is worse than some of the other farms we have explored in this series. Next, let's move on to the other mob that I thought would be a good candidate, ogres. While the separatists are found in pretty much one area, the ogres in this map can be found in larger numbers in multiple parts of the Kedem Forest in the eastern end of the map, featured in a bunch of events and just found all around their stronghold of Stone Crag Craw. Because of this, I feel a lot more confident about this specific mob farm just because of the amount of them that are present. Our goal, tiny treat bags. A very similar idea as the bags of pinched goods. But I very quickly came across an issue. When the Char control this area, there are significantly less ogres all around. Where I let an event fail, Wish spawned a bunch more ogres, but players started doing the next event and I thought I may as well help out, where we killed a champion ogre who dropped a bonus 38 silver from a Halloween prize bag that I'll disregard in our total. I spent 30 minutes total going all around the forest, killing the ogres I could find and a bunch of other creatures. I came out with 27 tiny treat bags that give 95 silver, and I didn't get too much of note outside of a cinnamon stick from a sapling I chopped down along the way and some other similar drops. Altogether, it came out to a total of 1 gold, 67 silver, and 23 copper, or 3 gold and 34 silver an hour, which is more than the separatists. I was not expecting that at all, and I think it mostly comes down to being in a bigger area with more mobs to kill, so I had a tiny bit less downtime with more harvesting nodes to grab as I ran along. And if I was ever in a world where there were no players playing the game and doing events, I think I could make a bit more gold from this farm with there being even more ogres to kill. After the ogres, we have the old reliable of moas. In the Plains of Ashford, we have exclusively Crimson Moa, and they can be found in multiple parts of the map. When it comes to earning gold from the Moa in this map, it's about the same average of 10-ish gold per hour as we see in the other maps. And when it comes to my personal opinion, this map is pretty okay. I think I like the experience slightly more than the Wayfarer Foothills, but maybe a tiny bit less than Diasa Plateau. We've talked a lot about killing Moas so far in the series because this seems to be the best gold farm we have found in each of these 3 maps so far. As we look towards future, higher level maps, there is a lot of potential with other farms that may be able to overtake this one, but we will see as we get to each one. But as I spend some time farming Moa, I wanted to return to the idea we started talking about at the beginning of this video, and that is investment, where there is another idea of investment slightly related to and inspired by farming Moa, gourmet training. This is a big cooking related collection that is a part of Grandmaster Cooking, which was added to the game a while ago now. Once you reach chef level 425, requiring a lot of gold for materials from a lot of different maps to just get to that point, you can do this collection, which will take you to a ton of different maps, including Drytop, and spend a ton of other gold, both just straight up and also in the form of crafted materials. This is a really fun achievement to complete that is definitely worthwhile to do, but as you go through this collection, you unlock a bunch of different things, including the ability to get cuts of quality red meat, a more expensive version of cuts of red meat, a better drop rate for slabs of poultry meat, as well as varietal seeds from select plant nodes. In general, farming plant nodes and animals that drop red meat and poultry is going to give more gold for us if we had gourmet training compared to if we did not, and this is definitely a great thing to have in general for your average player. But given the fact that we would have to spend so much money to complete gourmet training, and the fact that we can't currently even level up to chef level 425, and the fact that we don't have all the maps we need unlocked to complete the entire collection, it is not worth it at this moment in time, and is actually just 100% impossible to do for us at this current time. In the future, it may be more worthwhile, but we also have to account for the concept of the potential return on investment we would get, especially if we focus on farms and future maps that have nothing to do with red meat or poultry dropping animals or plant nodes. To turn our attention back to a new type of gold farm inside of the Plains of Ashford that I haven't looked at yet, I want to highlight the Awakened Invasions. This is an event that was added to multiple maps in Living World Season 4 that happens once an hour, but happens in 7 different maps and rotates through each of the maps. This happened in the Wayfarer Foothills as well, and I did it once but didn't specifically highlight it since I was focused on a lot of other ideas. but this also happens in the Plains of Ashford, and since there are 7 maps, the times these happen changes every day, so using the wiki is super helpful. Going in with an empty inventory, we can fight a ton of Awakened all around the map as they spawn through portals, and even fight some Champion Awakened. This is definitely an interesting event because it is kind of a big spoiler for Living World Season 4, but it is also cool to see in the map and doesn't really overwhelm the map with new content that much. It also pairs nicely with the Shadow of the Mad King Festival because of the achievements to kill Awakened, plus the champions for those bonus drops. And after completing one single invasion, kicking the Awakened out of the map for the next 7 hours, it took about 5 minutes and I participated in 4 of the 6 events that were up. In total, I got my 3 bonus Halloween prize bags worth about 1 gold and 17 silver, on top of the normal rewards. Of which I got 5 Halloween phylacteries, which contained some goodies, and I got 1 piece of rare unidentified gear, 2 tier 6 elaborate totems, and 1 tier 6 armored scale. With everything sold, I got 1 gold, 11 silver, and 93 copper for 5 minutes of time, which is pretty good. Plus the bonus gold from the Halloween prize bags that I can sell as well. If we were to look at this from the perspective of gold per hour, that's roughly 13 gold and 32 silver per hour, which technically makes this the best farm we've done, but we can only do it for 5 minutes once an hour, or if we are sticking to just this map, once every 7 hours. But I can continue farming in the Plains of Ashford to get some more gold utilizing the ideas I've talked about throughout this video. Farming in this map is actually pretty relaxing with the fantastic Ascalonian vibe. I've highlighted a lot of Ascalon recently on my channel, and this is definitely one of the most iconic regions in the entire game with so much cool stuff going on. For a lot of players, this is one of the most nostalgic areas in the entire world of Tyria, going all the way back to the very first seconds of the original Guild Wars. So much history is written within the ruined pillars and ragged walkways of this map, both with the concept of the lore and story of the Guild Wars franchise, but also with the concept of each individual player's adventures through Tyria. And as I adventured throughout the zone, I eventually met my goal of earning 50 gold exclusively in the Plains of Ashford. As I said, this was a pretty relaxing journey with a bunch of interesting farms to have looked at. To catch up on my stats, I have now earned a total 150 gold in my journeys through Tyria over the course of 31 hours with 12 deaths, and I am now level 65. But now it's time to look ahead. We of course still have Snowdin Drifts to go to west of the Wayfair Foothills, and we also have the possibility for the Frostgorge Sound. I thought for sure I would be close enough to level 70 by the end of this video to be able to get to Frostgorge Sound, but alas, I am not. Surely we will be able to by the end of next episode. With the Plains of Ashford, we have unlocked 2 new potential maps we can go to, our biggest addition yet. Those maps are the Blizzard Steppes to the east, as well as the Iron Marches to the north. I've been talking about wanting the Snowdin Drifts in the last 2 videos, and I still think that would be a good map to unlock in order to access the western parts of Tyria. But I actually think either the Blizzard Steppes or the Iron Marches would be more fun since they are in different level ranges than we have explored thus far. But of course, where we go to next depends on where the wheel picks. And finally, to the Snowdin Drifts we go. It's about time we finally got this map, and of course it has to be the one I want the least once we get around to getting it. But alas, every map in Guild Wars 2 is going to be a fun map to try and complete. I am excited to dive deep into the Snowdin Drifts, scour the entire map, and see what interesting stuff lies in store for us next episode. See you then.